There we go. And good, good. Started a little late, but I mean, when do we ever start on time? I know I like make that joke every week. I really should get better at shut up on time. Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? We rolling in. We rolling in. Hey, the hood waited. Hey, hey, hey. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. The green bean. You know what? You don't have to correct yourself. I like the green bean one. That's a good one. That's good. The green bean one. I feel like I need like a what is like the little Pope hats. I mean, I feel like doing this. I look like Batman, doing the Batman thing. I've been like reading a lot of fucking Batman lately. That's probably why. Alright, so like not part of the comics that I got this week, but I did break down not last weekend, but like over the weekend. And I got myself this, Birth of the Demon. I'm gonna review this at some point. I really like this a lot. Although it is weird that Grant Morrison is credited as writing like the sequel to this story, because like, okay, the whole point with like Batman and Son is that Bruce Wayne has a child. Ooh, but I mean, in what is it, like Son of the Demon or Birth of the Demon or whatever the fuck? It's like a whole trilogy. All right, so Son of the Demon was like the first of the trilogy in here. That story ends with like spoilers for a book that's like fucking 40 years old, but that like first arc ends with Talia having a miscarriage. Although later we see like the little kid like is adopted by this fucking like family in the middle of nowhere. So like, I don't know. That feels like a dangling plot thread that somebody could do something with at some point. Be interesting. It would be interesting, I think. But yeah, no. I mean, either Grant Morrison like is misremembering the fuck out of this book, or the editor just pulling shit out of their ass just to like sell this comic. But you know, I'm really into it. I read the first two, which I think is like Son of the Demon, Birth of the Demon, I think, Bride of the Demon, and then Birth of the Demon. All right. Fuck it. Hold on a second. I do have to show this though. Cause Ra's al Ghul's out here with the fucking like Chad outfit. Like this, my man. Hold on. Look at. What the fuck is this, dog? What the fuck is my man's wearing? I mean, it looks dope. Like he is on like just he's on X Games mode. He is pimping. This man is he's legit. He's got the cake. Yo, he's got a new fit like every couple pages. Oh, dude. I fucking love Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul is like literally my favorite Batman villain. Like, I love the Joker. Ra's al Ghul is my favorite Batman villain. Ultimate swag. Swag. Ooh. But yeah, that was just a complete tangent I wanted to go on because I like this comic a lot. I think it's really great. I'm gonna talk about it in like the near future at some point. What's up, Josiah? Wait, no, not Josiah. HR goes vocal. I saw HR's chat reply, but like I saw that Josiah like just recently like contributed to la conversation. But yeah, what's up? How you living? All right. So Adam says, in my opinion, looking back after reading 100 comics of these characters between these characters, okay. Wally West, Peter Parker, and Matt Murdock. Who's the worst at keeping their identity a secret? I mean, my joke answer is like Matt, because literally he just vagina. Hey, I'm Daredevil. Just so you know. Just wait, no, hold on. It's more like a you gotta do this right. You gotta tap 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 tap. Perfume. Vagina. Hey, ma'am, hi. Have you heard the good news? I'm Daredevil. I'm in love with you. Please marry me and be subjected to all the rigorous, torturous pain that goes along with dating me. It includes, you probably dying and me cheating on you, and yeah, I'm a great boyfriend. I'd make a great lover while I cheat on you with someone that you probably know, because I can't help it. I don't know, but Wally literally just unveiled his entire fucking secret identity as soon as he became the Flash. He literally just didn't care. Yeah. Although there's also Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe. Peter Parker in the regular universe is pretty good at keeping his identity a secret. Ultimate Peter Parker, though, every arc, someone has Peter tied to a chair, or has him tied up in chains or something, and they rip his mask off, and they're like, I don't know who you are, kid, but you got a face, and I know you live in New York. Although I do love that, is it issue 8 or 9 of Ultimate Spider-Man, where Peter goes after the Kingpin, and because he's 15 and has superpowers, he thinks that he can save the world by punching its problems. He he tries to go after the Kingpin. He gets zapped by Electro, and then they just rip his mask off because they think Spider-Man's an assassin. But when they see that he's just some kid with brown hair, white kid with brown hair in New York City, could be fucking anybody. All right, toss him out the window. Just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Bendis used to be really good at writing stories around the secret identity concept and subverting those tropes. I don't know why he did whatever the fuck he did on Superman, but whatever. It worked back then. He was on fire back then. But yeah, all right. Final answer. Wally West. Wally West is the worst. Because this man literally didn't even try. Barry Allen dies, and then Wally's all right, I guess I'll be the Flash, even though the Speed Force is technically kind of killing me at this point. I still don't know how that gets resolved. I feel that might be resolved in an event or something. But Wally just he just becomes the Flash, and he's well, Barry Allen's the Flash, and he saved the universe. Don't put expectation on me. All right, I'm the Flash now, though. Goodbye. Hey, what's up, Supreme? How you living? Grant Morrison will find any way to keep Batman's history intact and how he sees fit. Yeah. Oh, so basically Mark Waid right now with World's Finest. I have no idea where that story takes place. I don't know how it fits into continuity, although DC's continuity makes no sense regardless, so I'm just not going to think about it. I feel kind of bad because on my Instagram, I posted, I think it was like a panel from Jeremy Adams' Flash run. And I thought it was funny, but then someone was like, hey, so when does this take place? Because it involved Damian Wayne, like, talking to the Batgirls and all that. And they're like, so when does this take place? Does this take place before the Lazarus, Mortal Kombat shit, or afterwards? And I was like, yeah. Because I don't fucking know. I'm reading, like, both those books in trade, and I don't know what shit takes place in DC. Like, the last issue of Chip Zdarsky's Batman ends with Superman just rolling up on Wayne Manor about to beat the fuck out of Failsafe. And it's a cool moment. But wouldn't Superman be on Warworld at that point? Just don't think about it. I'm just not going to think about it. If I don't think about it and I just accept that it's cool, then it's cool. And I'm good. Oh, but yeah, exactly. Any thoughts on Chip Zdarsky's Batman so far? I like it a lot. I think, because I follow Riccardo Federici on Twitter, I think Chip Zdarsky has poached Riccardo Federici from the Superman title onto the Batman book, and he's drawing a picture of like Blue Beetle, and that fascinates me. The Chip Zdarsky run so far has been like very. He's not shying away from the fact that Bruce Wayne exists in a larger like DC universe with all these like other superheroes, and that Batman is like a founding member of the Justice League, and he's one of the Trinity, and you know he's a pillar of the DC universe. And I really like how Zdarsky's like really he's really playing up the fact that Batman is a superhero with a legacy. It kind of feels like he's doing a PG-13 version of Brave and the Bold, a little bit, just a little bit. I'm really into it so far. I'm liking it a lot. I can't wait to see where it goes. So far, this Failsafe arc has been pretty good, and he also did a pretty decent job of explaining away Failsafe's entire existence, because that was like a problem that I had. And I remember like bitching about that in like one of my like earlier like live streams, but he did a pretty good job of like explaining why, like, what's the failsafe for Batman's failsafe? Building a robot to like kill him and then forgetting how he built him. Alright, it works. It works. We doing a comic book pick? Fuck yeah, we're doing a comic book pick. Alright, I didn't get that much this week. But what I did get, it's some cool stuff. I guess I'll like start with the one book I haven't read yet, which is Grimm. So far, I've only read issues 1 through 3, and I like it a lot. I think the world building is pretty cool. The art is fantastic. This is like my first time really engaging with this artist, Flaviano. But just look at this, guys. If you're not reading Grimm, it's first of all, I get it. There's a lot of comics coming out right now. There's a lot of really good comics coming out right now. Even look at shit like this, dude. This is fire. This is so dope. It's funny, like, I almost passed it up because I was thinking to myself, like, I just got Neil Gaiman's death because I'm finally going through the Neil Gaiman Sandman series. Because I really like the Netflix show. But for some reason, the comic just never really held my attention. I don't know. I was also like 17 when I first started reading Sandman, and I was like, this is like horror, but it's not like vulgar and crass like Hellblazer is. So like my attention just went like But yeah, no, I remember like reading the first issue of this, thinking this is just Death with like a cooler aesthetic visually. But I'm glad I stuck with it because it's not. It's not at all the Neil Gaiman Death series. I'm not sure if you guys remember a show. It used to be on HBO. It's called like Dead Like Me. This kind of feels like a big budget. More imaginative. I don't want to say more imaginative, but like a high concept version of Dead Like Me. And I'm really digging it so far. Granted, I haven't read issue 5. I've only read the first 3 issues, but I'm liking it a lot. Also, the covers are dope. What's her name? She does Jenny Frison. She did a bunch of Wonder Woman covers during the Rebirth era. Jenny Frison does a bunch of the covers, and I think those are dope. Although I didn't get the Frison cover this time because look at this cover, bro. Look at this cover. It is so cool. I'm liking it a lot. And hopefully, the book doesn't go downhill because I've had that before. Where I've like recommended books to you guys and I'm like, this book is great. And then it goes downhill so fast. I'm so sorry for recommending so many people Tom King's Batman. But I guess speaking of Batman, don't put this back because I want to do a cool transition here. Detective Comics, by Ram V. This book also continues to be like really cool. Something that I like about, I guess like contemporary Batman, like where Batman is in comics right now, is that between Chip Zdarsky and Ram V, there are two aspects of the character of Batman that are being remembered and recognized, and it's that Batman is a superhero. Like I get it. Year 1 is fantastic. I love the Greg Rucka, the Ed Brubaker, like post Frank Miller era of the character. Like, hold on. I love this. Don't get me wrong. I love this. This is great. This is awesome. This is cool. Batman doesn't just have to be this. Batman doesn't just have to be, Robert Pattinson writing in his journal talking about how, like, justice bleeds from my anus. Crime is like a rubber noose made out of death's foreskin. I don't know if the city's getting better. Infrastructural problems are wrapped with corruption. Like, oh, that's cool. I get it. I like pulpy, gritty, street level crime Batman just about as much as anybody else. But Batman's also a superhero. Like, this nigga dresses up in a fucking like blue and gray outfit and he punches supervillains in the face. Batman's a superhero. And he's also a horror character. And I think those are two aspects of Batman that have been shied away from in recent years. And I'm really glad that you have creators like Ram V and Rafael Albuquerque and Chip Zdarsky and Jorge Jimenez like really remembering that. And I don't know, man. I'm liking this book a lot. This is just kind of like scratching an itch that I just could not get to for the longest time with the character of Batman. I mean, the status quo still kind of bugs me. The whole Bruce Wayne like millionaire thing is annoying. But I mean, he's gonna go back to being Batman. He always does. That said, I do like the voice that Ram V has for Bruce Wayne, and I also like that Ram V is addressing the fact that Bruce Wayne's he's older. Like when you're like 45 or whatever the fuck, and you're still running out here every night in like a bulletproof, like skin tight body armor, like full body condom, and you're punching people in the face and you're getting in the street fights, your bones are gonna break and they're not going to heal as rapidly as they did when you were like 25. So I like that they're playing with the fact that Batman is aging. I like that Ramby's playing with the fact that there's like this real horror of I guess like the human body is like my read on it so far, and how that's affecting Bruce's like psychology and how he sees himself and how he thinks Batman should be. Like Batman's immortal, but Bruce Wayne isn't, and that like fucks with him. I think that's fascinating. But yeah, I'm liking this book a lot. So if you're not checking out Ram V's Detective Comics, if you're not checking out Ram V's anything, you're missing the fuck out. He's brilliant. Another comic that I think is brilliant and is the best comic that you're not reading currently is that's presumptuous as fuck, but I'm painting a broad picture here. Action Comics by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Riccardo Federici. This book is great. This is Kal-El Returns, so it's the beginning of a whole new status quo for Superman. Well, not status quo for Superman, but like it's the beginning of a new arc. So like if you didn't read the War World Saga material, you can kind of just like jump right in. All you really have to know is that Superman beat up Mongol and he came back to Earth after being gone for like a year or something. I like this a lot. I'm also kind of in the minority of people who enjoy this cover. I saw a lot of people on the Superman subreddit just like trashing the fuck out of it, but I don't know. I kind of like the George Reeves kind of inspired Superman face and like all the like the movie marquee poster exaggerated expressions. I think it looks cool. I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid, but yeah, this comic's great. Also, I know Riccardo Federici's leaving Action Comics to go draw Batman, but I'm gonna miss this shit. I really am gonna miss this. Riccardo Federici like just became my favorite Batman artist, not Batman artist, Superman artist, and he's now just leaving, and I'm so sad. Like this is so cool. Couple this with Philip Kennedy Johnson's like approach to writing Superman and the Superman family, and also the Superman villains. Yeah, no, this is like my favorite. This is my shit right now. This right here. This is the best superhero comic coming out right now. I mean, I know I said it last week, but like I'm gonna say it again for all y'all in the back who ain't reading this book because the numbers ain't there. For the quality of book this is, the numbers ain't there. Y'all gotta up your game. You know, we can't keep complaining about like DC doing nothing but pumping out Batman shit and then not support like literally the best comic that's being published by them right now. Like, dude. Also, like I love Philip Kennedy Johnson's voice for Lex Luthor in this. I think this is the first time we've actually like seen Lex Luthor written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, and his voice for Luthor is just so perfect. It's funny. I was kind of dreading seeing Johnson like do some of the classic like overexposed villains like, you know, Lex Luthor, Metallo, but bro, this whole opening sequence with Metallo and his sister when she's visiting him in prison, it's haunting and dude, look at also Riccardo Federici draws an amazing Metallo. Um, dude, nah, man, I'm with it. I'm so with it. Um, I I also love that there's a scene in this where Lex goes to War World. There's like a remote control, like, you know, battle suit, but he goes to War World and he sees it and he's just like, all these Superman flags. This is what Earth would look like if it wasn't for my brilliant genius keeping everyone in check. Oh my god, dude! Johnson is such a great handle on these characters. I'm loving Action Comics. Again, this is the best comic book that DC's putting out right now, and it is the best superhero comic being published. I don't know how else I can say that. Buy the book. It's great. Please support good shit when it's good. So that way we can get more good shit. I don't know. And I'll do like one last book because this is like the last book that I got this week. Speaking of good shit, Superman Space Age issue number 2. So I know that also look at this cover. This cover is great. This is like an awesome homage to the Max Fleischer. What was that? What was that film called? The Mechanical Monsters. Yeah, this is like a great homage to that, but they're all like Brainiac robots. But I'm gonna be upfront. I love Mike Allred. I think Mike Allred is an amazing artist. I do know that Mike Allred is not for everybody, and I get that. But yeah, no, for me personally, this art works great. Let me show you like a dynamic page. Like this is really good. I like this a lot. It's kind of like the best way that I can describe this book so far is it's basically the DC equivalent to Spider-Man Life Story. You know, where Spider-Man Life Story kind of like showed us Peter Parker aging in real time with a Marvel Universe that was moving in real time. We're seeing that play out with Superman and the DC Universe as a whole. So you have from the first issue a Clark Kent who raised in Smallville, Kansas by John and Martha, and John is like a World War II veteran, and he doesn't really have all the answers, because no parent does. I also do think that Mark Russell, who's the writer of this book in the series, I think he does with John what Zack Snyder was trying to do with John Kent in Man of Steel, where he presents a very concerned father who has seen the horrors of the real world beyond the yellow brick road, beyond the farm, and he's terrified of his son with all of his gifts entering that world because he does not want his son to get eaten alive. I appreciate that in the Snyder's take on Paul Kent and Man of Steel. I think Mark Russell handles that concept way better. I think he executes it more masterfully by ironically making Pa Kent a war criminal. So that's pretty fucked up and kind of cool. But yeah, no, I really like this. Again, it's taking like real world events and using them to frame decisions that characters in the DC universe kind of make, and you kind of like see those real world I guess like problems impact the DC universe, and get us to status quos that are familiar to the comics from like actual DC lore. Yeah, no, this book's really good, and Mark Russell is very clearly, like up on his history. Like he knows his shit, and he also knows comics. So yeah, you put those two together, you get this, and you also get Fantastic Four Life Story, which I felt was a painfully underrated comic, but you know, Mark Russell's great. But I've been like a fan of Mark Russell since the Flintstones comic that nobody read either. But yeah, no, those are the books that I got this week. Not a lot. I mean, a lot did come out this week. Just I didn't feel the need to get everything that came out this week. I did hear that the Judgment Day issue, or I guess the tie-in issue from Avengers, was really good. That's like an Iron Man centric story, where I guess Iron Man kind of like passes the judgment from not Arashim. I don't know the name of the Celestial who's like judging everybody, but like it's not Arashim, who was the Celestial that was like established as being the one who would judge everybody in Jack Kirby's Eternals run, which I haven't read because I don't think it's. I read some of it. The art's really good. There were some interesting ideas, but overall, Jack Kirby's Eternals is not that great. But I can't say I didn't try. Hey, what's up, Supreme? Although I think I already said hi, but still, what's up? HR Goes Vocal says they picked up Criminal Coward and Bleach Volume 6 and 7. Oh, you're like just getting into Bleach. God damn, good luck. Good luck. Are you enjoying it so far? I've heard that reading the manga is a very different experience than watching the anime. I haven't done either because I keep hearing so many different things about Bleach. So many conflicting I guess opinions. Like the big one for me was when someone said it doesn't get good until like chapter 100, and then someone else was like, yeah, no, that's dumb. It gets good, and then you can stop reading after chapter 100. And I was like, I will read it one day, but today is not that day. But enjoy, yeah. What is Criminal Coward though? That's a really cool. It's a really cool title. Oh, is that Ed Brubaker's Criminal? Like the trade paperback? Yeah, Criminal's really good, I'm told. I haven't read Criminal though. I think the only like indie thing from Ed Brubaker that I've read is Incognito. Wait, no, that's a lie. That's a total fucking lie. No, I read the first volume of Kill or Be Killed, and I liked it quite a bit. Josiah says, well, I mean, the fact that Matt is blind means his sense of touch is enhanced, right? With that in mind, I would definitely use my secret identity to get laid too. Hey, man. Hey, bro. Matt is a devout Catholic. You Be fruitful and multiply. So, all Matt Murdock is doing is carrying out the will of God. And, you know, can't fight that, can you? Even though Matt Murdock picks and chooses which commandments he likes to follow. But, yeah, you know, just that one he really likes to follow. And I can't blame him. I really can't. Adam says, for me, it's a toss-up between Matt and Wally. Surprisingly, Parker's legit has like a small circle of people who knows identity. Yeah, he does. It also helps that like in the 616 universe, most people who figure out that Peter is Spider-Man end up dead. Conveniently. But yeah, no, Wally was just fucking terrible with it. Literally just, hey guys, I'm the Flash. Like, yo, secret identity much? Literally pulled an Iron Man like 10 years before Iron Man pulled an Iron Man. Was it 10 years? When does Tony Stark reveal his identity to the world? Is that in... Is that Mike Grell's run on Iron Man? Where Tony Stark becomes like the Secretary of Defense? Wait, no. I'm getting shit mixed up. Because Tony becomes the Secretary of Defense after 9/11. That's what prompts him to become the Secretary of Defense. Because he's like literally the Secretary of Defense for George W. Bush. Or I guess really Dick Cheney, because Dick Cheney was a real president during that whole administration. But yeah, no. I don't. Damn. I thought it was the 90s, but it might be the 2000s. On Zebwell Spidey, Peter is a 30-something still obsessing over Gwen and working for Norman. MJ is trapped in a relationship with an abusive boyfriend and might have kids out of wedlock. Is this the current state of Spider-Man in comics right now? Like, is this... You're fucking with me. You're fucking with me. It's not real. It's not real. I'm not reading Spider-Man right now, so that's not real. I reject your reality and I supplant my own. Where the Amazing Spider-Man ended at issue 500. Yep. That's where we're leaving it. Damn, you're still going. In other words, Peter became Miles Warren Jr., an adult that doesn't want to grow up and is still obsessed over a dead 19-year-old college girl. Oh my god, just let... You know, I heard a rumor earlier that Bendis is actually leaving DC and he's going to go back to Marvel. And he's going to write The Amazing Spider-Man. Which, by the way, 10 years ago, if you handed me that news on like a silver platter, I would come and shit and piss golden happiness out of my asshole, and I would cry tears of elation. I'm not sure I'd do that now though. In a post Bendis Superman a post X-Men world, I don't know if I would like to see Bendis do Amazing Spider-Man. That said, I kind of hope that rumor's true. I kind of do. Because then at least someone I know who loves Spider-Man would be like writing Spider-Man. And I know people bitch about how Bendis doesn't care about continuity and that, like, you know, all this other crap. But you know what? Would that be so bad? With current Spider-Man being what he is? Would it be so bad to have a writer who just does not give a fuck about continuity and just say, oh, and boom, Spider-Man. Bendis, you're contradicting the past couple years of the character with Dan Slott and Zeb Wells, and you know, I don't give a fuck. It's Spider-Man. I'll take that. I would much rather have that. Give me Bendis on Amazing Spider-Man. I want that rumor to be true. I see a lot of comic book rumors. That's the one that I want to be accurate. Remix. Hey, what's up, Remix? How you doing? I tried reading Sandman in high school. It went over my head as well. I came back to it in college, and I really liked it a few years ago. Yeah, man. Like, I'm watching the show with my girlfriend, and I like started rereading Preludes and Nocturnes. It's really good. I will say I had a more pleasant experience watching Sandman than reading Sandman. I don't know why that is. It's weird. Neil Gaiman's a great comic writer. It's just I had more fun like watching it than I did reading it. Yeah, I don't know. Also, I didn't mind. I thought I was gonna mind, but I actually didn't mind some of the omissions of like a larger DC universe. Like, it would have been cool to have Morpheus interact with, you know, Arkham Asylum and some of the inmates, and you know, have him interact with you know, Martian Manhunter and all that. But I didn't need it. I didn't miss it. It was kind of weird having John Constantine just completely erased and like gender bent. But I thought the Joanna Constantine character was pretty cool. Basically just John Constantine as a chick. She did look a little too like I guess, I don't want to say pretty. She looked too put together to be a Constantine. We're just gonna throw that out there. Whenever I think of John, I think of just like messy, disheveled, gross British man. And the actress who plays Joanna is not that. But yeah, I liked her. She fit the role pretty well. And the thing that made me so happy when watching that show was, it is like a dorky one, but they pronounced Constantine's name right. It's Constantine. Rhymes with line. And that's a quote from the comics. Like, John says, like, my name's Constantine, rhymes with, I think it says fine, not line. But, still, it's pronounced Constantine. It's just like the whole thing that I have with Carmine Falcone. His name is Falcone, but because Batman Begins came out and that was a big movie and everyone in that film was British, so they pronounced shit wrong. They said Falcone. No, his name must be Falcone. Falcone, Carmine Falcone. Just like John Constantine's name is John Constantine, not Constantine. Yeah. So, if anything, I really hope after the Sandman show, people start pronouncing John's name properly. That'd be nice. Supreme says, on Batman getting older, do you feel Dick can truly become his replacement? Because when Dick was his replacement in the pre-New 52, Morrison Snyder era, his time in the mantle had high readership. Yeah, hell yeah, I think that Dick Grayson would be a proper replacement for Batman. I thought he was great in that run. And I liked the run that came afterwards when Morrison left the Batman and Robin book and went off to do Batman Incorporated. I thought it was handled really well. Yeah, no, I would love to see that. Although I'm not sure you would ever see it again, unfortunately. And also, here's the other, I guess, monkey's paw. Would you want to see it again? And stop and think about it for a second. And I don't want to disparage any of the creators working in comics right now, but for just being pragmatic about things. Think about the writers and editors who are in charge of the big two. Think of some of the big names who are kind of dancing between both companies and getting some of the top gig kind of books. Do you want any of those people working on a Batman and Robin title that would act as essentially a spiritual successor to Morrison and Quietly's Batman and Robin Reborn? That's the real kind of question there. I don't. It's kind of that whole thing where for years I was bitching and moaning about how I would want Milestone to come back and how DC could bring Milestone back either as its own thing over there in its own universe or as like an extension of the DC universe. But something I didn't take into account was the climate that Milestone would be returning within and who would be working on Milestone and those characters. And now we have a Static book that I've been like bitching and moaning for like close to a decade, and I'm not reading it because what's a nice way to say it? The current Static book is dog shit. Sorry, that yeah, I'm thinking that is the nicest way I could have put that. The art's really good, but that's also like not really. We're also in an age where I think there are more great artists in comics than there are great writers. It's kind of like the the Tinder analytics for like, you know, men and women. How there's just an insane number of men on Tinder, and just like yeah, like maybe like for every like 15 dudes on Tinder, there's like 2 or 3 female accounts, and like 2 of them are bots. So like just one, so it's just really one woman to like 15 dudes. I feel like it's that, but like good comic artists to good comic book writers. There's like 30 writers who are like just running around comics right now. For every 30, you know, not yeah, wait, sorry, switch that. There's like 30 amazing comic book artists running around right now. For like 30 of those like legitimately mind-blowing artists, there's like 2 writers that I would say are on their caliber and worthy of their artistic talent. Maybe that's cruel, but the ratio to great artists and great writers is very off. That's why there's a lot of really great comics coming out. There's a lot of really great looking comics coming out right now with just dog shit stories. So I think there's like modern artists they gotta get their shit in. No, modern writers they gotta get their shit in gear so they can measure up to like a lot of the great artists that are out there right now. I don't know how I got on this topic, but oh, my bad. Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, Supreme was asking me about you know, the Batman. I think it would be cool if you know, Dick Grayson took over the mantle of Batman, but like for real this time. But I don't trust like that it would have that book would have a good writer. That's my one fear. Remix says, I wish Dick Grayson would have stayed Batman forever. I see what you did there. Especially now that there are multiple versions of Marvel heroes running around, it seems like DC had the right idea, but then backtracked. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, they definitely did. In fact, what Marvel's doing right now, which I think works for DC in a way it does not work for Marvel, if I'm going to be honest. I don't like the idea of there being multiple legacy heroes with the same name in the Marvel Universe. I think that works for DC in a way it doesn't work for Marvel, but that's a whole mindfuck discussion for another day. But dude, remember like the early 2000s when Green Arrow came back from the dead, or when Oliver Queen came back from the dead, and then there were like 2 Green Arrows? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Dude, remember when there were like 8 Supergirls at once? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Remember when Kingdom Come Superman was ripped from his timeline and DC basically did the Jeff Lemire, Andre and Sorrentino Old Man Logan run with Kingdom Come Superman like 10 years before Secret Wars happened and like made that whole status quo possible? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Like yeah, no, that's an idea that like DC kind of pioneered, and then New 52. New 52. That's what happened. Damn. And that's all I can say on that. Just damn. Remix says, I really wish, oh, there we go. Sorry. clicking on things. I got distracted by clicking on things. Supreme says, on John leading the JLA, in my view, he has not yet earned it. Both Kara and Connor have earned the right to lead the Justice League. Thoughts? I can definitely see a case being made for Kara. Connor, maybe not. Well, you know what? I don't know. I take that back. I think if you're going to really play up this whole like omniverse idea where everything is canon, and Connor is essentially the character from like 1994 up to like 2011, I can see a case for Connor Kent leading the Justice League. I can see that. Although I'm also in the camp that thinks that Connor Kent, if you're gonna have two Supermen, one being Clark as the veteran Superman and another Superman being the former Superboy who had to step up to the plate, that should be Connor. That should not be John. That is not John's place. John has not earned that yet. Connor literally died saving the multiverse. What has John done? Bitch and moan about the pink tax? Sorry. I don't want to get into politics here. I mean, okay. There are real world issues. And I get the appeal of wanting to explore the concept of social justice within a contemporary setting, using Superman as a vehicle to get to the heart of these problems. I get that, but what the fuck has John Kent actually done as Superman? What has he done? And on top of that, he's also just like an insufferable cunt. So yeah, no, just John Kent's not he doesn't deserve to be Superman. He doesn't deserve to be Superman. That should have been Connor. It 100% should have been Connor. And I think it would have been great to have both Connor and Kara step up to the plate and take center stage as the super people of Earth, while Clark was off liberating the slaves while he was dying of space cancer. Until he wasn't, but still, I think that would have been way cooler than seeing John Kent just like flail around. While Tom Taylor kept patting himself in the back for progress. Even though progress was made like 20 years ago with fucking Stormwatch. But like progress. Isn't it cool that like we have a gay Superman? Midnighter and Apollo literally exist, but isn't it cool that we have a gay Superman? Aren't I being so progressive? I'm gonna behave today. I promise you I'm gonna behave. I'm on my best behavior right now. I swear to you. HR says, I watched the anime. Talking about Bleach. I watched the anime in the past. Now just reading the manga for the first time. It's better than the anime. It's a better experience. Okay. Answer this question for me, and then I will 100% decide whether or not I'm going to read the manga or not. Is it the difference between watching Naruto and reading Naruto? Because reading Naruto is easy. It's not easy, like, but, you know, reading Naruto is great. Watching Naruto is a fucking chore. You know, is it the same? You know, is the Bleach manga compared to the Bleach anime the same experience? Just tell me, and then I'll make my decision, and I'll start my budget plan for next week's comic pickup. There was content clearly removed from the Bleach anime. Oh, damn. Did you like Spencer's Spider-Man? I do. I do like Nick Spencer's Spider-Man. I appreciate everything that Nick Spencer was going for, and I appreciate how he kind of had to bite the bullet and I guess, like, take a lot of shit for essentially trying to fix Spider-Man after just 10 years of complete mismanagement. But there's 10 people watching this. Hey, hit that like button. Do the thing. Thank you. But yeah, no, like, I really appreciate what Nick Spencer was trying to do, where he's basically just, like, trying to fix Spider-Man comics. But I don't know. I just feel bad for Nick Spencer. I see what he was trying to do, but just, like, editorial very clearly got in his way, and that's a damn shame. But I like it for the most part. I'll say that. I like it enough to the point where I picked up the entire run in trade. Adam Cano says, the Iron Man run you were thinking about wasn't... Oh, that's Kurt Busiek's run. Where Tony reveals his secret identity to the world. That's Busiek? What, the fucking dog? Where, like, you know... He's holding the press conference and he, like, jumps out of the armor and saves the little girl and her dog. That's Busiek? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that. Agreed. Neil Gaiman is a great comic book writer. His Marvel 1602 work and his Miracle Man is great. Very excited to see him return in October. Yeah, man, I'm excited for that. I really can't wait to see how Miracle Man wraps up. That was one of the books that I actually just found Miracle Man on my bookshelf. You guys, I'm not sure if you guys, like, saw them in, like, my live stream where I showed you my collection, but I do have Miracle Man on my bookshelf. It's, like, behind a bunch of other books, though. But given the way Marvel's probably gonna, like, reprint that whole series for the inevitable conclusion of Miracle Man, I'm probably gonna have to, like, get, like, an updated print run of the series. That's a book that I want to review at some point. Miracle Man's, like, one of the books that is really important to the modern landscape of comics, and it just gets completely overlooked. It's kind of like how The Authority, I think, is just as, if not more important than the Ultimates. But it's often overlooked because the Ultimates exist. I think Miracle Man is the same way. I think people look at like a book like Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns and say, 80s, that redefined comics, and they completely just Miracle Man. It's a damn shame, but it'd be like that, unfortunately. Adam says there was the one where he gets the anime style armor and he reveals his identity after Joe Quesada's god awful run. Interesting, Quesada ruining 2 characters with secret identities and red costumes. It's a coincidence. It's a coincidence. Give Joe Quesada Daredevil and we'll go 3 for 3. Although I guess some people already feel that it's 3 for 3 because I know a lot of people don't like Guardian Devil. I mean, I get it, but I like Guardian Devil. Or much rather, I'll say I remember liking Guardian Devil. Because there were a lot of comics that I read growing up that I remember liking a lot, and then I reread them, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, why did I think Hush was good? Yeah. I guess that's my hot take. I don't think I've uploaded it yet, but my I've just started redoing my Let's Play for Batman Arkham Knight, and I've gotten to the Hush mission. Jesus fucking Christ, it's literally just nothing but me talking about how much Hush fucking sucks. That comic is great when you're 13, but when you read it when you're like 23, you're like, oh Jesus. What if Batman was a horny 13-year-old boy? Well, then a lot of 13-year-old boys are going to like that book because Batman's a reflection of them. Although, you know what? There is such a read to have on that where I guess that's the point of Hush. You know what? I'll read it again. I'll read it again. I'll give it a fair shake. But I just remember when I reread Hush when I was in college, I was like, this is not good at the fuck all. But I was also comparing it very heavily to Grant Morrison's Batman and how Grant Morrison kind of like plays with similar subject matter in Batman R.I.P. Which isn't fair. Comparing anybody to Grant Morrison's not fair. I guess unless you're comparing Grant Morrison to like, I don't know, Neil Gaiman or Warren Ellis, or Mark Miller. Or even, you know, once upon a time comparing him to Bendis. I think Bendis, Bendis is also great. Or I guess was also great. Marvel Comics, tarnishing 616 Spider-Man brand since 1994. It is what it is, man, and it be how it be. I don't like it, but them's the breaks, unfortunately. Supreme says, on your retcons and reboots video, do you feel the 90s Clone Saga should have been rejected outright at the pitch stage? Because I feel like the 90s Clone Saga has influenced every modern bad Spider-Man story. Okay. Well, I kind of talk about how I think for Spider-Man in general, since Clone Saga, the mission statement for new Spider-Man stories isn't how can we tell an interesting story and what ideas can we explore with this character. They've more so turned into, oh shit, how do we fix what the last creative team broke? I feel like Spider-Man's been in that weird cycle for the better part of like 25 years at this point. And as much as I dislike what Clone Saga devolved into, when you read some of those like early Clone Saga issues, they're actually really good. Like, that's the thing. And I was talking about this with my buddy, because we were talking about how, you know, people have, you know, their respective hot takes on the current X-Men run by I was going to say Hickman, but Hickman's not there anymore. And how I think that Marvel really just should have just let Hickman do what the fuck he was going to do. Because I don't know, it's a whole thing, but people forget that Clone Saga started out really well. The only problem is that it kept going and it went too long and devolved into like the worst version of itself, which is something I think is going to happen with the Krakoa era on the X-Men. I really feel like Marvel should have just let Hickman keep doing what he was doing, but nope. You just had to do what you did with the Clone Saga, where you're like, hey, this is making us money. Let's kick off the guys who started this whole train, and we're gonna keep it going from here because we know better. Because it's making us money, and we're just gonna keep doing the same shit. And then we're gonna get. I would unironically fucking love it if Judas Traveler showed up in the Krakoa era X-Men. That would be that's the signal. That's the signal. That's when you know. Ooh. Oh man. Oh man. What is it with Marvel and DC just not learning their lessons? Like, what is it? If the past is something to be learned from, these motherfuckers clearly are just going like, well, this happened in 1962. So, let's do the exact same thing and we're going to get different results this time. Like, utter madness. Like, I remember Mark Millar talking about how, like, he would love to work on, like, some Marvel and DC characters, but he just doesn't have the patience for that. And I get it. I get it. I also get Grant Morrison just noping the fuck out of DC Comics altogether. I get it. How much of that shit can you really take? Before you're just like, I'm arguing with a crazy person. I'm not doing this anymore. I think I said hi, Tevia, but, you know, hey, what's up, Dev? If I didn't say hi, I'm sorry. Oh, it's the same for Bleach as Naruto? Alright then. Alright. Everybody give HR Goes Vocal a round of applause. You are the linchpin. You are the one that has finally prompted me to read all of Bleach. You heard it here first. I'm going to start reading Bleach. This is my declaration. And, you have nobody to thank for this but HR Goes Vocal. Yeah. You're the man. I'm glad I have my camera on when I'm doing this, because when I don't, it just sounds really bad. Oh, how do you feel about the post Spider-Man Nick Spencer? Because I frankly think it's a train wreck. Well, you mean like the post Nick Spencer Spider-Man, or the what Nick Spencer was doing with Spider-Man? Sorry, I'm kind of confused with the question. Adam says, I have another Spider-Man analogy you may like more than Shaq. Spider-Man after Untold Tales of Spider-Man by Kurt Busiek, God tier run. Then he became like Kanye. I don't hate it. I like it a lot. Fuck you for that. It's great, but god damn it. Why did you make me think about it in those terms? God damn it. Oh man. God damn it, man. Oh, it's damn. Uh Now I want to get like a tattoo on my forehead of Kanye with the fucking like giant like Roblox outfit. But it's like a Spider-Man outfit. Just gonna Jared Leto that shit on my forehead. Why does editorial hate Peter Parker Spider-Man? I don't think editorial hates Peter Parker Spider-Man. I just don't think editorial knows what to do with Peter Parker Spider-Man. Just like I think, unfortunately, editorial doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with like most of their characters. The music for Bleach is amazing. Yeah, you're like not the first person to tell me that this week. Weird. I'm a targeted individual. They're watching me. No, it's weird coincidence. The universe works at that. Part 2. Super influential and became a blend of a meme to just money-making dude demanding the answer from Sway. In Marvel's case, we thought Sway was Slot. Horrifically misjudged on our end. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. That's the problem with Spider-Man, though. You know, and I've said this before in other streams, but I guess all the wheels have kind of like clicked together to make like a thought vehicle that I'm going to like drive into your brain. So, Spider-Man's just too big. Spider-Man has gotten too big. The thing that worked about Spider-Man, as well as the Marvel Universe throughout, you know, the 60s, 70s, and 80s, was that it wasn't DC. You know, whereas DC is iconic, so a lot of those characters have to, like, stay in those status quos forever because those status quos are iconic. Marvel didn't have that problem. You could have characters grow and change and develop over time. And that was a luxury that Marvel characters had because they weren't nearly in the public eye as much as DC was. Although now we're at a point, I'd say for the past like 30 or so years, where Marvel characters are iconic. And with that iconography comes a bit of stagnation. It's the reason why Peter Parker can't really grow or mature. It's the reason why I forget who brought this up, but Chris Claremont wanted to have Cyclops leave the X-Men entirely and retire and get married to Madeline Pryor. It's the reason why that couldn't happen. because the X-Men are popular. It just kind of is what it is, unfortunately. Yeah. Spider-Man's just gotten too big. He's gotten too big to the point where you can't tell stories with him anymore. And the only like stories you could really tell with him are, I guess, like inoffensive, kind of light, fluffy tales, you know, that don't hurt the overall like brand, or go against the iconography that the character has been like adopted under through pop culture. The Authority is 100% the precursor to the Ultimates, but no one ever talks about it. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think the Authority is like the other most important comic of the early 2000s. Why do I keep doing air quotes today? Oh, weird. But yeah, no, like the Authority is great. Granted, it's a little dry compared to the Ultimates. It's not as easy to get into as Mark Millar's Ultimates is. I think the key difference between Ultimates and the Authority is that the Ultimates is, at the end of the day, a more entertaining read, even though they're dealing with very similar subject matter. It's just I love the Authority. I would read Ultimates 1 and 2 1,000 times over before reading the Ultimates. Not before reading the Authority. Warren Ellis is a great writer, and Brian Hitch is a great artist, but Ultimates is like kind of juicier, and like I guess some of that like raunchiness just makes it more entertaining, or I guess it makes the big ideas a little easier to swallow. Hush is the Michael Bay of comics. Yes, thank you. Culture. Cheers to you, a man of culture. There we go. Okay. I scrolled too deep. On Zubble Spider-Man, a friend of mine says, "Let the man retire. Let his story end in grace. Let Miles Morales be the new hotness." I can see that. Although, I think in order to do that, you really have to rehab the fuck out of Miles Morales. Because Miles Morales does not work currently. That character's so fucking broken through like all this like multiversal, justifying, his existence from like one universe to the next, but like a lot of that shit being retconned, even though a lot of like key aspects of Miles' development in the Ultimate Universe hinges on the Ultimate Universe equivalents, or I guess counterparts of Peter Parker's supporting cast, who became Miles' supporting cast because Peter died, but that didn't happen in the new universe. Miles Morales needs a lot of work done before we start prepping him to be Peter's actual replacement. But Miles is, I also feel like a clusterfuck of wasted potential. And every time I rewatch that Into the Spider-Verse movie, I'm reminded of that. Just slaps me in the face. So, I feel like Black Dynamite and its frog dick just going like... I bet only like 2 people got that reference too. Goddamn. Are you going to New York Comic Con? Oh, you're going to New York. Well, I'm not going to New York Comic Con this year. Well, let me see. How much is a ticket? Ha! Oh wait, never mind. That's a VIP ticket. Okay, cool. I I I saw the $502.75 and said, "You can fucking suck my Iron Man, bitch." No, okay, no, all right. That's literally just the VIP ticket. Okay, how much are like the regular tickets though? Okay. For Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, that's like $67.75 for each day. That's basically like, I guess including tax, like $70. So that's basically $200. I'm not going to New York Comic Con. I'm not doing that. Yeah, no. No, no, no. No, 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 no. I'm not going to New York Comic Con. Who's gonna be there though? Oh shit, Diane Guerrero. God damn. If only I had a car to fit her body in my trunk. That's a joke, by the way. It's a joke. I know sometimes the internet takes shit very seriously and YouTube will flag your whole thing. No, it's a joke, Google. If you gotta take over the world, at least have your AI recognize humor. It's gonna be there though. Artist Alley. Aaron Campbell, don't know who that is. I don't know who these people are. Oh, the person who does DC Superhero Girls is gonna be there. That's cool. Don't know. Oh, Alex Maleev is gonna be there. That's sweet. Although, of course, I think Alex Maleev like lives in New York, so no duh. Amanda Connor. All right, so that means Jimmy Palmiotti's also probably gonna be there. Melissa Wong. God damn, this is a long ass list. Ben Percy's gonna be there. All right, that's dope. Like literally the best Green Arrow writer that we've had this whole decade. Fuck, has it been that long? God damn it, dude. DC, get on your shit. Get somebody to do Green Arrow. Billy Tucci's gonna be there. Boss Logic's gonna be there. Dope. Brian Azzarello's gonna be there. That's also dope. Charles Soule. Charles Soule's a really cool guy. I met Charles Soule at Baltimore Comic Con like 4 years ago. He's really sweet. He signed my copies of Death of Wolverine. It's over here somewhere. It's on my bookshelf. That's where it is. Chris Claremont's gonna be there. Dope. Christopher Jones is gonna be there. That's awesome. Clayman, yeah. Obviously, Cody Ziegler. I know that name. Dan Jurgens. Dan Jurgens is also really cool. Man, I feel so fucking stupid. So I had a chance to go see Dan Jurgens when Dan Jurgens did a Q&A and signing at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. With I think he's doing it with like Paul Levitz, I think. And I didn't have anything for him to sign. And by that I mean I have books of his, but I couldn't find those books. And I was like running late to the Q&A, because like to get a ticket on like the Amtrak train, it's like it's not that hard. It's just like the commute to get into like the nation's capital is fucking abysmal. Even though like the entire like DMV is like very fucking small, but like I didn't have any comics for him to sign. And then when I got home finally, I had my copy of Superman 100 Prey literally sitting on my bed. I have never been so fucking mad in my life. Dan Moore's gonna be there. All right, bet. I like Dan Moore a lot. His art's great. Declan Shelby. I thought they said Eddie Berganza for a second. There's no fucking way Eddie Berganza is going to a con ever again. There's no fucking way. Frank Cho. I love Frank Cho. Frank Cho's based. I remember when I met Frank Cho, again, at Baltimore Comic Con. Me and my buddy are like having a whole conversation with him about like art techniques and shadow, and then some chick who's wearing like a Vampirella cosplay like walks behind us, and Frank Cho's literally, he's doing this. Click. Like Frank Cho is so OC. I love him. How he's not been Me Too'd yet is beyond me, but it's great. That's my hero. Literally the Mineta of the real world. Let's see. Sweet Kim Coley's gonna be there. All right, that's cool. Jerry Duggan. I expect Jerry Duggan to be there. Greg Capullo. I was like this close to meeting Greg Capullo at AwesomeCon too. Never happened, but damn. Jenna Lynn Wright's gonna be there. Jim Shooter's gonna be there. Okay, sweet. Jock is gonna be there. Yeah, Jock goes to like all the cons. Yeah, this is a really good list. Cami Garcia is gonna be there. Sweet. Leanne Hyun's gonna be there. Sweet. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool list. It's just I'm not paying $210 to. No. I also like I don't live far from like New York, but I don't live close either. That's also like the problem. But yeah, no, I'm probably not gonna go to New York Comic Con this year. I will do a stream for like the big announcements at New York Comic Con, but I'm probably not gonna like actually go physically. Any con that I go to this year, if I go to any con this year, it'd probably be Baltimore Comic Con. Yeah, if I went to a con, it would be Baltimore. Just because I know for a fact that's like where all the comic people go. It's like I know Jimmy Palmiotti is gonna be there. I know that Amanda Conner is gonna be there. I know that like, you know, Tom King and Philip Kennedy Johnson, and you know, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, they're gonna be there. Also like Louise Simonson and Walt Simonson, they're gonna be there. I don't know. I feel like I have a higher chance of like actually engaging with like comic book personalities, which is why I go to Comic Cons in the first place, to like actually see comic book people. I mean, the pop culture stuff's fun. It's just, you know, I like comic books a lot. That's my bread and butter. You know, I'm kind of weird like that. You know, like I remember I went to AwesomeCon a couple years ago with my old coworker, and it was like he's like a huge Doctor Who fan, so he was like, "It's Matt Smith! Matt Smith is there! Oh my god! I'm jizzing out of my eyeballs." And I was just like, "All right, cool, whatever. That's just Matt Smith." But when I saw Sean Gordon Murphy like at the table like 10 feet away from me, I was like, "Oh my freaking god! It's Sean Gordon Murphy! You don't understand! It's so cool! I'm just jizzing out of my face, neck, and eyeballs, just blah." I was freaking out. And Sean Murphy noticed me freaking out and was also freaked out. And you know, rightfully so, because I was being very weird, but yeah, no, I get really excited for like comic book, you know, creators, less so like celebrities, you know. So for that reason, I'm probably gonna end up going to like Baltimore Comic Con if I go to a con this year at all. Adam says disagree. Oh, okay. Let's see where this goes. Here's the goal. Oh, okay. There's a lot of great Spider-Man runs past the 90s and miniseries. Unfortunately, they've been horribly overshadowed by One More Day and the later Clone Saga. Well, I'm not saying that like Spider-Man has been like all bad. I'm just saying that like I was painting. I was using a fat brush to paint a wide stroke. Yeah, there are definitely really good Spider-Man stories that have come out the past 30 years, but for the most part, even the stuff I like, a lot of Spider-Man stories are born out of this idea of trying to fix what the previous creative team saw as broken in the character's like history or publication. I miss Hickman on the X-Men. I want to say I do too, but like honestly, after I got caught up real late, and by the time I started getting caught up, Hickman was like already announced as leaving X-Men, so I don't think I got that far into it to care. But it does suck because I really did like I really liked House and Powers of X. Remix says Hickman leaving the X-Men is literally a paradox. He revitalized the brand too well, so he can't complete his original story, and then he gets and then it gets artificially extended. What a joke. Yeah. But hey, man, that's working for the big two for you, man. That's just how that shit is. Also, it's literally history repeating itself. Literally, that is what happened with Clone Saga. Clone Saga starts out really fucking well. It is a shot of B12 in the ass of the Spider-Man brand, and then the editors are like, you know what? What if we did this, but we kept it going for like 4 years? Not 4 years, like really like 2.5 years, but still, what if we kept it going for what's gonna feel like 5 years? Shit, man. I don't know. You end up fucking the whole thing over, but it'd be like that, dog. Question: what would happen if Marvel and DC went bankrupt? That would not happen. That can't happen because Marvel and DC are both owned by multimedia parent company conglomerates. Supreme Omega says, I don't know, the 90s Clone Saga had some dumb motivations as one more day, i.e. Reset Peter back to his single swinging status because several writers and editors had an irrational hate boner for the marriage. Yeah, although, you know what? We say that, but I mean, a lot of I know it's like a cliche at this point, but like, a lot of comic book fans don't like change. Like literally, a lot of them don't. It's so funny. My buddy who I met who I met Frank Cho with, you know, something about earlier. He collects all of these, like, you know, Spider-Man omnibuy. His collection's extremely, it's beautiful. It's fantastic. He has like all these bookshelves, and each shelf is dedicated to, like, you know, a character. It is a marvel to behold. No pun intended. But when you read the letters pages in those Spider-Man omnibuy, because Marvel put they also include the letters pages for those issues, you see that, like, people didn't like that Peter Parker graduated high school. People were mad about that. This is 4.5, 5 years after Spider-Man's been established as a character. So Spider-Man's been around for a fairly brief amount of time, and people were already mad that, like, Peter Parker was graduating high school in 1968. People were mad that Peter Parker was graduating college in, like, the 70s. Granted, he stuck around because he was a teaching assistant as he was trying to get his bachelor's degree. And also, Peter didn't actually graduate college. He had like one of those, like, bullshit like extracurricular classes that he just forgot to take. So he was like 1 credit shy of graduation. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, he graduated. But, you know, still, people were mad that Peter Parker graduated college. People were mad that Peter Parker, you know, was growing up and changing. So no, like, when I find out that a lot of the people who are reading Spider-Man comics throughout the 70s and into the 80s hated the marriage and resented the fact that Peter Parker got old and got married, Nah, that makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. I get it. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I get it. Dewey says, I meant the post-Nick Spencer leaving Spider-Man, which has led to the horrible Spider-Man Beyond era, and that current stuff that we now have with Gwen Stacy back from the dead for 2 seconds. Oh, that's not like the weird like tie-in to like Judgment Day. Fuck that. I'm not reading that shit. Yeah, I don't care. I've literally just put Spider-Man down forever. Well, not forever. I'm being dramatic, but you know, until further notice, I'm not reading Spider-Man comics. I'm not. Terry says, even though the editorial has made Miles Morales Spider-Man in the main Marvel Universe, and could have him be the main Spider-Man, I mean, in theory it could, but like, you guys, I'm telling you, Miles needs a complete just overhaul. If he is to be the main Spider-Man for any version of the Marvel Universe. Do you believe if Stan Lee was still alive, he would end Peter Parker's story? I don't know. I could see it. I could see him doing that. If Marvel gave him the right amount of zeros at the end of a check, I could see that happening. Do you feel editorial's hate boner for Mary Jane is petty and gross? The marriage is gone, yet they still loathe MJ. Yeah. Yeah, I do. It's I don't get it. Mary Jane is like legitimately not just, in my opinion, one of the best side characters for a superhero comic. I think Mary Jane Watson is the perfect superhero animus love interest character. I think she's perfect. Years of character development, years of backstory. It's a wonderful reflection of Peter, kind of a mirror for Peter in a way. No, I think she's great. I don't get the hate for that character at all. Speaking of the Authority, any opinion on Grant Morrison's Authority book with Superman? Because I found it to be super confusing. I enjoyed it. I just didn't think it was like wholly necessary. Although, granted, I know why Grant Morrison wrote it, because it was like a whole... So basically, DC wanted to do a whole thing where like Superman became like fascist Mussolini, like Ubermensch Superman. Basically, DC wanted to make Superman Omni-Man, and they wanted to have John be invincible. And Grant Morrison said, that's a fucking terrible idea, so I'm just gonna write the book and write it in a way where it's not that dog shit. And then he just kind of like off a whim wrote a 4-issue miniseries, which I think is fun. I think it's kind of cool, but like it, I don't know. It's nothing really special. I mean, it's still really good, but it's also just HR says Miles Morales needs his own identity. They could have gone with a name like Wolf Spider. That's really cool. I like that name. However, think I think Miles getting his own identity would work very well if Marvel wanted to continue with adult Peter Parker and Miles sharing the same continuity. I do think if you just throw Miles back into this Ultimate Universe, you don't have to do that. You can just have him be Spider-Man, but that's a whole nother issue too, I guess. Who says, do you believe if the Battle of the Super Sons animated movie succeeds, it will open the door for DC to finally de-age John? No. That won't happen. Oh, you're gonna be cosplaying John. Oh, dude, nice. Take pictures. Yeah, dude, totally. I mean, I'm probably not gonna be able to see them because, I mean, I don't have like a Twitter anymore. But I do have Instagram, so I'll check and see like if you have an Instagram at all. Actually, I do have a question for you guys. Would it be worth it for me to have a Twitter again? Like, I don't miss Twitter, but like, it does make the, like, I guess, community growth process like way easier, you know? I don't. Is it worth getting a Twitter again? I didn't particularly enjoy Twitter, but like I did have a lot of friends on Twitter that are really cool. I met a lot of cool people on Twitter. You know, it was fun interacting with some of you guys on Twitter. But like outside of that, like it's pretty vapid. It's kind of made me like hate everything. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I get Twitter again? How do I feel about the whole GTA 4 controversy? GTA 4. Oh, GTA 6? You mean like Vice City 2? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've now entered a new age for humanity as a whole. No longer will we be subjected to an endless array of remakes of GTA 5. We now about to have ourselves a GTA 6, and it's gonna be a Vice City sequel? Oh. Yo, okay, hold on a second. When did GTA 5 come out? Oh my god, GTA 5 came out in 2013. GTA 5 came out in 2013. Games for the PlayStation 3 were still being made. Yo. We've gone through like 2 console generations in that time period. We've gone through 3 live-action cinematic Batman in that time period. Fuck, dude. Fuck. I graduated high school. I started college. I dropped out of college. And then I went back to college. And then I graduated college. in the time between GTA 5 and the release of GTA 6 sometime in the future. Like, that's weird, dude. Fuck, man. That's insane. That blows my mind. Claremont also wanted Xavier to die and let Magneto be the new headmaster. With Cyclops' retirement and Magneto's redemption, he wanted X-Men to follow the legacy format. Pity the higher-ups didn't agree. Well, it's funny because like that's kind of what the upcoming X-Men cartoon is doing. Literally just doing Claremont's run, doing what Claremont wanted to do with the X-Men. I think that's fascinating. I like Peter Parker graduating high school and moving forward. I do too. Spider-Man's a character who's all about growth, and it's sad that for a character who's all about growth, he's remained stagnant for several decades. Supreme says, one fan response, the death of Gwen Stacy had a huge backlash from several fans. It was actually controversial at the time, to the point where Stan Lee says, not my fault, didn't approve it. Good old Stan. Always blame shifting. David says, I love Mary Jane with Peter Parker and their daughter Mayday. Yeah, me too. I love that Spider-Girl series. It's really good. Also on editorial, how do you feel about their love and worship for Gwen? They love Gwen. I think a lot of that love comes from people misremembering early Spider-Man comics. It's kind of okay. It's very. I'm not sure if ironic is the right word, but I'm gonna say ironic anyways. I feel like a lot of comic book readers view Gwen Stacy in the same way that Peter Parker views Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man Blue by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. And is it Tim Sale or Tim Sale? I heard somebody say it's Tim Sale recently, and that fucked with my brain. But you know, I'll say Tim Sale. But one of the things that kind of trips me up about Spider-Man Blue, and I get that this is probably the point of Spider-Man Blue, but that book has such a rosy depiction of Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker's first interaction, where like, you know, Gwen Stacy, you know, she has this beautiful luscious hair, and she's wearing the lab coat, and she's got the go-go boots with the pencil skirt that goes a little high to the point where Peter's spider sense is like woo woo, like. But that's not how it was. You know, Peter didn't see Gwen across the room, and you know their eyes met, and there was a spark, and it was magical, and you know they just knew instantaneously that they loved each other. That's not how that went at all. No. Peter Parker graduates high school, and then he goes to ESU, where Flash Thompson also goes to ESU because he got the football scholarship and all that. And Flash is busy making new friends at college, while Peter's just stressing the fuck out because Aunt May is dying because it's 1960 Spider-Man and Aunt May has to die every couple 5 issues. Or like every couple 5 issues. Wow, English. But yeah, no, like Flash is making friends with people at college, and Flash meets he meets Harry Osborn and he meets Gwen Stacy. And Harry and Gwen come from like some fucking private school in like Manhattan or whatever. And Flash sees Peter on campus, and he tries to introduce Peter to Harry and Gwen, but Peter just, he's in his own head, you know. He's stressed, you know, like, oh, Aunt May has radiation poisoning because in issue whatever the fuck I gave her a blood transfusion, but my blood's radioactive, and oh no, and Scorpion's trying to kill me, and oh no, and Betty Brant's 25 years old and still wants to fuck me, and oh no, and you know, Jameson's not paying me money, oh mama, oh god, pow, and Scorpion wants to cut my head off and shove it in his asshole, wow. Like, Pete has all this going on in his head, and he's also trying to solve the mystery of the Master Planner, who we later find out is Doc Ock. So, Peter just, he's not acknowledging anybody on campus. He's, like, always kind of ignoring Flash whenever Flash tries to, like, introduce Peter to his new friends. And Gwen Stacy, because Harry introduces her as being, like, a pageant queen, because she's like a beauty pageant girl. Gwen Stacy is not used to being ignored by men. She's not used to it. It's completely fucking foreign to her. So when she sees Peter Parker, you know, this guy that, like, you know, Flash Thompson, you know, their new friend, just kind of being a dick and just, like, ignoring them, but, like, specifically ignoring her, she takes that, she doesn't take that very well. So by the time the whole Master Planner arc is completely resolved, you know, and, you know, it's the, you know, I can't remember the fucking quote, but it's where Peter Parker, he lifts the thing off of his back, and he gets the blood cured out to Dr. Connors, who later synthesizes antidote for Aunt May, and Pete just has a second to breathe and just wipe the sweat off of his brow. He takes a seat at his desk at ESU, and then Gwen Stacy, like, walks up to him, and she's like, Peter Parker, I'm Gwen Stacy. I likes you, and I want you. We can do this the easy way, and we can do this the hard way. The choice is yours. And Pete's just like, I don't know. Girls don't usually talk to me. What's happening? That's how Peter and Gwen first met. It's not rosy. It's not cute. It's not, like, hyper romantic. It's, like, awkward and, like, kind of antagonistic. And that's kind of their relationship throughout college. Yeah, no, man, like, I don't know where this notion of Gwen and Peter having this, like, lofty, lovey-dovey relationship comes, because that's not what their relationship was like. Especially when MJ becomes, like, a serious supporting character in the Spider-Man book, and there's that kind of, like, Betty Veronica kind of thing going on between them. Dude, no, Peter and Gwen did not have, like, an ideal kind of, like, relationship. They didn't. I really think that notion just comes from people just misremembering the fuck out of, like, 60s into 70s Spider-Man. But yeah, no, I think that's where that sort of, like, fetishization comes from. It's just people misremembering shit. Debbie says, question, if you were in charge of Spider-Man, how would you end Peter Parker's Spider-Man story? Because for me, I would end it with Peter and MJ getting married and having their daughter. You know what I would do? And this would definitely be considered a hot take, something that this would be controversial. I would first of all I would end the whole will they won't they between Peter and MJ. I would just not have Peter and MJ get together. Just fuck it. I'm not dangling that piece of meat in front of anybody. Just they're not getting together. Peter is gonna settle down, but he's gonna settle down with Deb Whitman. You know, he's gonna settle down with Deb Whitman, and you know he's gonna be a professor. You know, at what's a school that's not in New York? He's gonna be a professor at Rutgers University. Yep. So Peter Parker would be a professor at Rutgers. He'd be married to Deb Whitman, and he'd be completely retired from Spider-Man, because the whole point of Spider-Man as like an institution is it's a coping mechanism for Peter getting over his guilt and really getting over himself and that like desire to be a big shot, you know. I really just have like Peter Parker just kind of, I don't want to say settle, but like really he'd just be content with living a normal quiet life. And that's how I would end Peter Parker's story. And then I would introduce a new character, who would basically just be like Miles Morales, but like done right and like actually interesting. And I'd have that new kid be the new Spider-Man. And I would do like a I'm not sure you guys like read the Rebirth title for Blue Beetle, but there's a thing where Ted Cord was kind of training Jaime Reyes to be the new Blue Beetle. I would do that with Peter and his replacement. You know, like the new Spider-Man kid starts doing some shit. He gets, you know, wound up in some insanity, and Peter steps in and is like, "Hey, kid, I'm gonna train you to be the real Spider-Man." And then you kind of like see him getting tempted by the old life, but like he doesn't really want to go back to that old life because it presented nothing but toxicity and pain for him. And also like was a key factor in his first marriage breaking down. So yeah, no, that's how I would end Peter Parker's story. I would have Peter slowly kind of phase out as like a mentor character to a new Spider-Man, and then I would just have the new Spider-Man be Spider-Man. That's what I would do if I was in charge of anything, but, you know. Maybe that's why I'm not in charge of anything, because I'm not sure if my idea sounds, like, commercially viable at all. Adam says, do you think 2000's Jessica Jones from Alias would get along with Shinji Ikari? Fuck no. Oh god, no. She'd be like painfully annoyed with Shinji. Oh, not GTA 6? You meant GTA 5 the revival? Oh, I didn't hear about that. Why do you have to make me feel old like that? I'm old enough to remember when Eminem, Teen Titans, and Powerpuff Girls first hit the streets. Damn! You old. I'm messing with you, but you know. No, I feel that way too, man. Dude, no, I was at my job and I was talking about how when I was in high school, I was really into the Grant Morrison New 52 Superman because that was like right up my alley when I was like reading comics uh, as a teenager. And then this other kid chimes in and they're like, yeah, no, I also love Grant Morrison's New 52 Superman. That was like my introduction to comics. I was like 7. And I was like, fuck you. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. You're making me old. I'm not supposed to feel this old, but you're making me feel old. God damn it. HR Goes Vocal says, I really want Spidey to have a family. It'd be like Superman's family or something like that. Or something akin to what Chip Zdarsky was doing in Spider-Man Life Story. Yeah, I can see that. That'd be really cool. Supreme says, it got me thinking about the original 70s Clone Saga, where the point of that story was to show how toxic nostalgia can be, and it's important to live in the future. I feel modern Spidey has missed that point. Excellently fucking said. Excellently fucking said. You are. I don't think you realize how right you are. I'm gonna pin that. I'm gonna pin that. Yeah, that's. There we go. That's brilliant, and you are 1,000,000% fucking right. Davey says, honestly, the only time I liked Gwen Stacy was in Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah, I feel you on that. I would also throw out Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I like her a lot. In fact, I think she's like my favorite Gwen Stacy. Even though she's basically just ultimate MJ with blonde hair and like less daddy issues. Oh yeah. Oh, good night, Tevya. Why Deb Whitman? They did not have that. Yeah, you're right. They didn't have the healthiest relationship. But I mean, neither does Peter and like any of his in like. What relationship has Peter had that you can say with confidence wasn't toxic? They're all bad. You know what? I also it's just like a I guess a fun like little, you know. I feel bad for Deb Whitman. Deb Whitman like went crazy. Peter Parker drove that poor girl crazy. I feel like having them like kind of start over would be like a fun little like, hey, you know, second chances. Yeah. I like Deb Whitman. She's adorable. She didn't deserve everything that happened to her. Yeah, Blue Beetle Rebirth was pretty good. Nowhere near as good as the post Infinite Crisis Blue Beetle series though. I'm like reading that for the first time since like 2007. I'm liking that book a lot. I have no idea why I didn't like that series as a kid. I mean, like, I know why I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I thought the art was terrible. But I don't know why. Like, I'm reading it right now, and like the art's really good. Like, it's literally that thing where, I'm looking back on like past self, going like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This is great. This is right up your alley. Why don't you like this? This is literally made for you. I don't know, but I'm really enjoying the The pre New 52 Blue Beetle series. I think it's really good. Supreme says, how would you remake the 90s Clone Saga? Because it has to end with Peter and MJ in Portland and Ben being Spider-Man. What would you fix or remove? Bro, I'm not gonna lie, it's like after 1 a.m. on like the East Coast. I can't do that right now. I will do it at some point, but I can't do that right now. Adam says, I wouldn't go the mentor route for Peter. May seem played out. Make him the owner of a wheat cakes factory called the Rileys and have his discounts called the Jamesons. That's great. That's great. Teddy says, I would love to have Peter Parker and Mary Jane have a daughter. Yeah, me too, but that's never gonna happen. Didn't Zdarsky introduce a comedian love interest in his run of Spectacular Spider-Man? He did early on when the book was dog shit. Sorry, that I should be, I guess, less vulgar. I'll say something nicer. Zdarsky's run on Spectacular Spider-Man, while it later evolved into one of my favorite runs on the character in recent years, began as utter dog shit. And that comedian chick who like shows up in the first like 3 or 4 issues, she just kind of went away. I'm kind of glad, because that whole plot just seems stupid. Yeah, no. Well, with the exception of Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon, why is it hard to adapt comic book accurate 616 MJ? Because none of the other adaptations have portrayed MJ right. MJ is a weird... MJ is a boss bitch. She's a boss bitch. But she's also like what you have to, I guess, fight against in terms of adaptation is okay. This is the last question that I'm going to dip. But the problem with adapting MJ is that Mary Jane Watson, when she first shows up, is a completely different character from what we see later on throughout the 80s. After her and Peter are married. She softens up a lot, and she also matures a lot. Because when MJ first shows up, she's vapid as fuck. Like, she's not really like... MJ would belong to the streets. Like, early MJ belongs to the streets. That's just what she was. She was just a vapid party girl. But then she grows, and you as we see more of her, we see that that's just kind of a front. Like, she actually is a very intelligent person and very caring human being, but she has problems, and that complexity is what we kind of latch on to. The problem is we know where that character ends up, and I guess trying to... I think a lot of people think it would come off as a bad look to adapt early MJ straight up. And I think a lot of those creators are afraid of making MJ look bad. Because first impressions are everything. I think that's the real tricky nut to kind of crack when adapting MJ. And it's why a lot of creators just kind of settle on making her Liz Allen with red hair. Because it's just it's a way easier thing to try and adapt. Yeah. All right. Well, all right. So I guess the real last question I'll talk about, because Supreme just dropped a new one here. 70s Clone Saga Miles Warren represented the creepy fans who only saw Gwen as the angelic pedestal, with the message being that even if Gwen came back, it wouldn't be the same because Peter has moved on. Yes. Exactly. If only the editors picked up on that idea. But yeah. Anyways, I like to going to bed. I'm about to go to bed too. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. I love doing this with you guys. It's so much fun. Glad I got to talk about some more comics with y'all. For anyone who's like watching this like later after the live stream, after the playback, let me know down below in the comment section what books you picked up this week. You know, I'm like very curious to like know what people are checking out, because you're probably reading something that I'm just not hip to. So, anyways, I'm the Mystical Green Beanie. Thank you for watching, and as always, until next time, adios, nachos, adios.